Hi guys, this is Alex here and welcome to Series 2, Episode 2 of this tutorial series, SoundWorks Scores. In this episode I'm going to run through the production tips and tricks that I've used, as well as the instrumentation used in the second section of this rescore, including both the organic instrumentation and the arpeggiators used as well. So the first instrument to come in when starting off the second section of this rescore is the cello, and it's playing a glissando that's just completely descending down into its lowest notes, and this is very reminiscent of something like Johan Johansson in Sicario, so I'm experimenting with orchestral techniques and just kind of going a little bit more experimental and wild with the instrumentation. So I've started off with this cello. It's the pocket blouse, the one which I normally use for the kind of the nasally sounding quality about it. It sounds really cool, quite eerie, which is exactly what I wanted for this particular rescore. So I started off with that, playing that almost like a pitch envelope on a synthesizer, but just kind of orchestrated for a real instrument. So it's just sounding all the way down into this second section. I added a touch of EQ just to kind of take out a couple of resonant frequencies, as well as a low pass at around 1K as well. So it's quite substantial, but it sounds really cool. So I'm sending that to that delay there, and also a reverb as well, which sounds cool. So it's just a very simple concept. I've actually used that 3 times throughout this second section, just kind of leading into it, almost kind of like acting as a dominating sort of figure in the score. And one last time in here as well. So it's used 3 times in that. It's kind of like the main sound about it, very Sicario influence, very experimental, very atonal, but sounds really cool. That's the main part which leads it into the second section of this rescore. But I've also got a sub timpani from Spitfire Audio as well, which just gives an underlying huge New Year sub, which is exactly what I wanted. I used Spitfire Audio Albion, Easter Island, which sounds absolutely incredible. I literally just use one note, just kind of just straight underneath, leading into that second section. It's very simple, but it sounds really cool. Yeah, again, I low passed it quite a bit because it was a little bit too intense with the higher frequencies in there. So I've just I've low passed it at around 200 Hz, so quite a substantial low pass, but it definitely makes that difference. So that cello leading into it sounds like this. So in terms of organic instrumentation, that's the main those are the main 2 instruments I used. Of course, it's a very atonal, experimental, synthesized score, but I wanted to have some traditional but experimental orchestral techniques in there. So that pitch envelope, your cello, or glissando, your cello, sorry, and the subtimp were the main organic instrumentation used in this score. And then the next main part of this is definitely the arpeggiator, which sounds like this. It's very simple. I'm literally just holding down a G and then adjusting various semitones on the arpeggiator. It's a 16th notes, very simple, but I'm just going up 3 semitones here, 5 semitones here, 6 back to 3, all the way down to 2 semitones below that G, and then 2 semitones up. So it's very simple. It's just alternating those chord tones a little bit, but it's just literally. I made sure that it was quite a soft sounding sound right from the off. So I basically used a sine wave, very simple, rolled off that cut off a little bit on the low pass. Didn't adjust much of the envelope, but had quite a sharp attack and quite a fast release as well. The sustain is up a little bit, but it just gave quite a soft sort of nature to it, just a little bit, literally very subtle, but that's exactly what I wanted. Nothing too harsh, but something quite sinister but futuristic and electronic as well. So that's the main arpeggiator that I use, but I layer it up with another arpeggiator from FMA. which is something completely different. I'm automating the mouth function here on the torque wah, which is basically like a filter, or almost like a bandpass filter, but just automating that. But that's a lot more harsh. I believe that's a sawtooth wave. Same 16th note arpeggiator, but something very simple, but it's got a lot more harsh in the harmonics and the timbre of the sound. So layering that underneath that soft sine wave arpeggiator was something that I really wanted to try and achieve, and it gives it just a little bit more the nuances underneath, which sounds really cool. So that's it for episode 2 of the series. Join me for episode 3, where I'll be talking through the vocal sampling tricks that I used in combination with using guitar feedback and synthesis and sampling to really create aggressive sounding feedback sounds and ambiences, which I used in the score. So I'll see you then.